A loved one living with Alzheimer's or any other forms of dementia, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your lives. We know that this time of year can be bittersweet. It is a season filled with memories, love, and togetherness, but it can also remind us of the challenges that you have faced and the courage it takes to walk this path.
At the Wilshire, we are deeply honored to have been there to support you through those moments, to create a safe, compassionate space where your loved ones live with pride and dignity, and where your family could find comfort and hope. This holiday season, we're sending our warmest wishes to you and your families. May you find peace and cherished memories, joy in the present, and hope for the future.
From all of us at the Wilshire, happy holidays. You are forever a part of our family.
If your family member or loved one needs a memory care home, visit WilshireMN.com. That's WilshireMN.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. This evening, a chance of snow with temperatures rising to 26 overnight. Then on Tuesday, a rain-snow mix possible with a high of 33. We need your support to help keep progressive radio on the air in the Twin Cities here at AM 950. If you can, head to am950radio.com and make a donation. As a thank you, we'll send you our 6th annual AM 950 calendar. That's am950radio.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 20, Chicago's progressive talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. And no matter where you are, from P-Town to Alabama to Marquette to Seattle, we've got you here on The Gailey Show. I'm your host, John Parker. My executive producer, Jim Pounds, is joining me, not in studio today, from remote location. If you like what we're doing on YouTube, please subscribe, click that like button, leave us a comment. We are currently live streaming there. And for our Chicago listeners, welcome to our new time. And for folks who are just tuning in going, what? Who are they? Stick around for the next hour. We've got some lovely political news headed your way. After our first commercial break, we'll be doing a roundup of today's crucial LGBTQ headlines. At the bottom of the hour, Healthcare Showdown Part 2. What is MAGA trying to do to your healthcare insurance premiums in less than 23 days? But up first, we are officially kicking off our 2026 election coverage. Today, we're headed to the swingiest of swing states in the United States, Wisconsin. Chris Armstrong is running for the 7th Congressional District as a Democrat. The Democratic primary is next August, the 11th, and of course, the election is November 3rd. Hello, Mr. Armstrong. Welcome to The Gailey Show.
Thanks, John. Welcome. Glad to be here.
All right. So to begin with, affordability, cost of living was the major issue that propelled Democrats to victory across the U.S. in November. I'm curious for you and your campaign, what are you hearing from voters in northern Wisconsin? And what are your ideas that you would do in Congress if you were elected as it relates to cost of living?
Well, I mean, certainly, everybody I've been talking to have been, the cost of groceries, cost of electricity, cost of gasoline, other things is just out of control. And this administration, unfortunately, is doing just about everything to make all of those things worse. And and then, of course, we've got a big, ag, industry here in Wisconsin. And again, those policies really aren't helping those organizations out either. So, so first of all, I mean, I think, the tariff, regime that's in place is just completely nonsensical. It is just not based on any, common sense, economic theory or anything. And so, do tariffs have a use? They do, certainly in very limited cases, but, this is really hurting, the farmers, especially small business. And, having, uncertainty, I think, is a big thing that's really troubling people about, how can I possibly make plans for, my family and my business when, the policies might change, depending on what side of the bed, the president gets out of. The kinds of investments that I think the federal government can help, the 7th district is to, help improve education, job training, increase wages. We've got to be able to, people have to be healthy in order to work, in my opinion. So, the other side seems to think that you have to work to be healthy. That's completely backwards. You have to be both, mentally and physically well in order to do that. And of course, healthcare obviously is a very topical concern of many people, where rates are going to increase significantly for many people across the 7th district. And I am unfortunately not very confident that Congress is going to figure something out in time. I mean, for goodness sakes, there's like a week left of time. Again, why lawmakers go home to leave huge holes of critical legislation and benefits, notwithstanding the 50 plus days that Mike Johnson kept the House of Representatives out of session. I mean, for goodness sakes, you would think that with that kind of time on their hands, maybe they could have come up with a good healthcare proposal, but it doesn't look like they use that time in a real positive way.
No, not. We're going to talk about what is on the table, and it's dicey. I know that Jim, our executive producer, would be your constituent if you were elected. So I know he's got a bunch of questions for you. So Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, Chris. Can you give people, when you first registered to run, it was you and Tom Tiffany. That was and so when I saw that, I thought, well, Tom Tiffany's about as smart as a box of rocks. So I'm going with Chris. Well, now the situation has changed. Now we've got 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background that helps distinguish you versus all these other people?
Yep. So, I started the race back in April. And, that was out of basically a sense of, frustration and rage about what was going on in the federal government. Decided that, as the, first flurry of unconstitutional and illegal executive orders came out, DOJ started taking a sledgehammer to the federal government, that I had to do something because I was going to break something in my house. So I started protesting locally here in my little town of New Richmond in St. Croix County in February, all by myself, walking the crosswalks at the busiest intersection in town at rush hour. And that, led me to want to get engaged with, the April 1st election that was coming up at the time for Supreme Court, where, again, so much money was being thrown into it. Again, Elon doing pretty unscrupulous, probably illegal things, in my opinion, as it relates to the election, but felt that I needed to do more than the bare minimum. So, traditionally over my life, I've been a, pretty committed religious voter, up and down, the ballot, all elections, primaries, put up a lawn sign or two, maybe throw some money at a candidate or two once in a while, but, religiously voted. But I'm like, I need to do more for this, this April 1st election. And so got engaged with the local St. Croix County Democrat Party. And started canvassing doors, in preparation for that election. And it was, of course, very encouraging to see the outcome of that, where, all of Wisconsin shifted left, 10 or, 11 points. Right. And, but I thought of, I'm a grandparent for the first time.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much. He's the cutest guy in the whole world, of course. And I thought of, what am I going to tell my grandson, in 10, 11, 12 years when he's a young man? And he says, Grandpa, I heard things are pretty crazy when I was born. What did you do? And I just can't imagine not, looking him in the eye and not being able to say, I did everything within my power to try to make this place a better world, for you and future generations. Right. And so, that compelled me, to get into the race. My background, I've run a IT company, I'm a small business owner for the past 30 plus years, coming to you from the global headquarters in my house in New Richmond, Wisconsin. I grew up on the Apple River, north of Star Prairie. I was just across the county line, went to high school up in Amory. Went to school at UW-Madison, got my degree in astrophysics and mathematics from University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. And, but, I was talking with another, local constituent, if I might be presumptuous, just last week. And, she asked me the same kind of question, why are you running? And I'm like, well, I'm nobody. I'm anybody. I'm just a guy, right. I've lived here, most of my life. I think this is one of the most beautiful, areas of the world, and, feel privileged to be able to grow up here. And as, a part of trying to, affect change, after the April 1st election, decided, hey, I think it was the Hands Off or No Cuts rally was coming up with Indivisible on April 5th, decided to register, an event here in Richmond. And 4 days later, we had 95 people signed up and 250 people showed up. And then that caused me to say, we need a local presence of Indivisible here in New Richmond. So I started Indivisible New Richmond with a co-host, and have since had to step away from a leadership position because being in a political office. But in the protest that we had on October 18th, I think that was. The last big national one, we had 350 people show up, and what was compelling is, we actually had Republicans and independents show up. And there are a lot of people out there that are really upset with what's going on. It's not just me, with the erratic policies of this administration, and again, how they just don't seem to be doing anything to fundamentally, make things better for people. And so, I just feel like I'm a guy who can stand up for the regular working class people of the 7th district, represent them and the interest of working families and their businesses.
Let me ask a question about 7th district, because when I look at that map, it is vast and it is sort of unfocused in my mind. Strategically, I look at it and think, well, where's the center of that, and what represents Wisconsin 7? Is there a town? Is there a focal point, or is it really like a stained glass window?
There's a lot of diversity, So one thing, the 7th district is the location of 7 of Wisconsin's federally recognized Native American tribes. So we've got a lot of that historical diversity to celebrate and protect. Where I live in St. Croix County in the southwest section of the district, Hudson and New Richmond, kind of suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Then we go all the way north to the South Shore of Lake Superior. So Superior, Ashland, Bayfield, that's kind of a different, ecosystem up there. The big, the Chewagamon forest in the middle, Wausau, Medford, Merrill, Eagle River, Toma, except not including Toma because it goes around, Chippewa Falls, except not including Chippewa Falls. So it's a very large landmass, 26 of Wisconsin's 72 counties, larger than the country of Denmark. So, it is a pretty large, district.
It is.
With a lot of different diverse viewpoints. But I think, growing up here, I think at least I'd like to believe that we can all agree on some common values of, fairness, decency, and compassion.
Well, and let's start with honesty. I mean, I think that's been in short supply. So let's do that. I see John's giving me the hand signal, so I'm gonna let him take it from now.
Well, I feel like we are coming up at our time here, so I'm very appreciative, Mr. Armstrong, for your taking the time to come with us, begin to tell us about your campaign. I have a feeling we're only beginning to start the conversation here. There's a lot of time between now and next August, so I hope you'll do us the honor of coming back to talk more about the issues as we get into 2026.
I would eagerly welcome the opportunity to come back, guys.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Chris's website is armstrongforwisconsin.com. That's armstrongforwisconsin.com. You can follow him on Blue Sky and on Facebook. Just search for his name and candidacy. We're going to take a break here. Before we do, if you like what we're doing on YouTube, please click subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us how you're liking The Gailey Show here on AM 950 KTNF and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Jade from Greenhouse Salon and Shop. If your current salon experience feels rushed or impersonal, come feel the difference at Greenhouse. Our artists create personalized styles in a warm, inclusive space, and our shop is full of unique gifts from local women makers. See some of what's in store and book your appointment online at greenhousebryn-mawr.com. Better yet, stop by 403 Cedar Lake Road South in the quaint Bryn Mawr neighborhood of Minneapolis. Greenhouse, where every client feels cared for.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. It's been great working with so many of the passionate AM 950 listeners over the years. We have realized how important AM 950 is to the community. I want to see AM 950 continue to grow and continue to thrive into the future. To help continue to grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to do your part by liking and sharing the content on AM 950's social media platforms.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Ryan has always told me the best time to get work done is during the colder months of the year because demand is much lower. He is backing that up again by offering 30% off labor on windows and siding from now until the end of December. Call Snap Construction now to get 30% off labor on windows and siding. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Trust the company AM 950 trusts Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, and window contractor in the metro area. Get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Hey, this is John Parker at Rainbow Road in Minneapolis. The holidays are coming up, and you can buy a limited selection of official Tom of Finland swimwear, tanks, and underwear for that special someone or for yourself. But don't wait on this. When they're gone, they're gone. And while you're there, update your gym look from a wide selection of tanks, t-shirts, and shorts. Rainbow Road is open 7 days a week on Grant Street by Loring Park and all the time at rainbowrd.com. Remember to get it at the road. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. Let's take that graphic off. There we go. I'm John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. If you are listening in the 2 p.m. Central Hour, you can take your calls. We can take your calls, rather, at 952-946-6205, 946-6205. Want to let you know that our films at Flip the Script Film Festival are showing their final film in the Queer Gaze series. That's Gaze, Gaze. It's this upcoming Sunday, December 14th at 2 p.m. This is a monthly film series that they do, organized by the Flip the Script Film Festival organizers. Wow, that is a mouthful. This Sunday, they are screening Saving Face. It is a 2004 rom-com about a Chinese-American surgeon who has been keeping her lesbian identity hidden from her widowed mother, but then she comes home to find her mom at her door, having been banished when it was discovered that she is pregnant out of wedlock. Both are reluctant to go public with their secret loves that clash against cultural expectations. But will they be able to keep their secrets while they're living together? The film will be at Imagine Willow Creek. You can go to imagine-entertainment.com/queer-gaze, or just there's a link in our show notes that you can click to get to that. Or you can go to flipthescriptfest.org to learn more about the film and to watch the trailer. All right, here is a roundup of crucial LGBTQ headlines happening today. From LGBTQ Nation, a big win here. Trans inmates win the right to gender-affirming care as judge calls it a serious medical need. That's the headline from LGBTQ Nation. The subhead, plaintiffs argued the ban constituted cruel and unusual punishment. The journalist is Fafix Collington. And essentially, this story, U.S. District Judge Victoria Calvert has stopped a Georgia ban on gender-affirming healthcare for incarcerated persons in that state. Judge Calvert called it a violation of their Eighth Amendment rights. And again, the Eighth Amendment is about cruel and unusual punishment. So withholding healthcare is cruel and unusual. So there is a win for folks in Georgia. From Pink News, the headline, Instagram slammed for deletion of queer accounts, erasure, not moderation. So the subhead there, Instagram has deleted multiple UK queer inclusive arts organizations from its platforms, leaving creatives without needed work. So the journalist there is Chantel Bilson. Essentially, what happened here in the UK, several queer inclusive organizations reported that their accounts were just deleted. They just woke up and they were gone. They received no warning from Meta or from Instagram. They filed appeals to have their accounts reinstated, but they were rejected within like 8 minutes. So they are alleging that no humans reviewed their appeals. They were just automatically rejected. We're talking about tens of thousands of followers that they have lost, organizing capacity, how they were selling tickets. All of that is gone. By the way, in other Meta, Facebook, and Instagram news, they have specifically outlined in their policies that you can call your wife or your daughter your property. And hundreds of thousands of you could come to my Facebook page and bombard me, calling me mentally ill. Of course, you can't because I don't have a Facebook page. Can you see why I don't have a Facebook page or an Instagram account? All right. From the Bay Area Reporter, good news. A state agency is going to, here's the headline, state agency set to fund San Francisco LGBTQ senior housing project. The assistant editor, Matt Bico, wrote this story about Mercy Housing California. So they are expected to get approval this month for a $47.5 million grant from a California program that will allow them to build a 187 unit LGBTQ senior housing project.
Wow, great.
They had been rejected twice from this program, and now they're going to be included in the funding. They kept at it. Third time was the charm. It is going to be built in San Francisco's Upper Market Street corridor.
Wow.
Other interesting news that you wouldn't have expected. This is from Aaron in the Morning. Headline, trans healthcare coverage ban stripped from negotiated military NDAA bill and a Sunday night surprise. So this happened last night. Apparently, both the House and the Senate put language into the NDAA, so the National Defense Authorization Act, annual bill around all things military. And they put language in there around that would have forced a surgical ban. So no military members, none of their family members could use healthcare coverage to have any type of gender affirming surgery. And they were also going so far as to say that anyone who was contracting, so any company that was contracting with the military, they couldn't offer it to their employees either. Neither language from the House or the Senate survived, not even like amended versions of it. They just poof, were gone. So that was like, whoa, that's an interesting win. Still in the NDAA is anti-DEI and sports ban provisions, but even the sports ban provision was weakened. Also interesting, basically saying that if you're in a school, you can't be trans and compete in athletes and games, the great issue of our time. But they were also going to go so far as to say that any visiting, like any teams these military academies were playing, they couldn't have trans athletes.
For gosh sake.
So that part of it was taken off. So you can read more at Aaron in the Morning. And then from the Advocate, and this is just Oklahoma. So the headline here from the Advocate, another University of Oklahoma instructor suspended in biblical psychology paper grading controversy. The journalist is Christopher Wiggins, and this story is dense, folks. So at the University of Oklahoma this semester, an undergraduate psychology student, Samantha Fulnecki, allegedly turned in a paper that said that transgender people were, quote, demonic, and then proved it, supposedly, citing biblical scripture, not academic research. This is a psychology course. So
Right.
the graduate student instructor, Mel Kurth, allegedly gave Fulnecki a failing grade
Yes.
because she wasn't citing academic research.
Because she's a fool, you mean?
So
Okay.
the University of Oklahoma responded by suspending the instructor and giving her a passing grade.
Wow. So you really...
hang on. No, we keep going. The students organized a protest for this past Friday, and an English composition instructor, Kelly Alvarez, allegedly sent an email to her students saying that if you want to go to the protest, you would be excused because that's an official university function. And so the University of Oklahoma's response, they suspended her permanently for the rest of the semester.
Well, so you can't get I have a sister that I don't speak to that lives in Oklahoma, and you clearly can't get an education in Oklahoma. So I would ask myself, if I was in Oklahoma, what
apparently
the crap
in
am I doing here?
in psychology, it's what biblical scripture means, not science.
No. Oh, no.
Wow, University of Oklahoma. Wow. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to get into Healthcare Showdown Part 2. You're listening to The Gailey Show on WCPT 820 and AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
This is Santita Jackson, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I couldn't be more excited about starting our days together, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central, on the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. Maybe you breathed a sigh of relief that Thanksgiving wasn't at your house this year, but now you're realizing you are going to be hosting something in December and your home isn't ready. But don't worry, there's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to come out and get things in order before your friends and family come over. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home, from tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and more. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. They have a 4.9 rating on Google reviews with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Call Zero Res right now, 9520-RES, or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Lock yours in today. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. This evening, a chance of snow with temperatures rising to 26 overnight. Then on Tuesday, a rain-snow mix possible with a high of 33. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. For our folks in Chicago who are just tuning in going, who are these guys? We are the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. You can catch us here weeknights at this very time. All right, it is 33 minutes after the hour. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, subscribe, but I also want you to leave a comment right now because we're going to get into healthcare. And I want to know what your experience is right now. If you are on the Affordable Care Act, what is your experience like? What is happening to your premiums right now? If you want to share that and put that into the comments, because we are seeing a lot of posts from people about what is happening to their health care. And we have T-minus 23 days before the tax credits expire. And the numbers that people are going to be seeing here in terms of what their premiums are going to be starting January 1st, it is double. All right. So first, I want to start with the fact that a new political poll just came out here. 37% of Trump's voters, so people who voted for him in 2024, are now saying the cost of living is the worst they've personally experienced. Now, and the Democrats were over half, but the thing about that is that, whoever is not in control of the White House usually says the economy is worse than. So it may be the Democrats are feeling that, but we usually see that. Interesting to me in this poll is that 37% of Trump's voters say that after a year, the economy is the worst they've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Okay. His response is affordability is a con job. Everything is fine. And he, quote, said, "I want to act as if there is no concern." So
that's comforting.
Here's the deal. If you have health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, your monthly health insurance premium should be staying the same in 2026. Well, they should have been. But it's only if MAGA and Trump continue the tax credits. The Democrats shut down the government to demand that MAGA continue those tax credits. MAGA said no. So when given the easy choice between raise people's health insurance premiums or don't, they said no. So if these tax credits expire on average, this is on average from KFF reporting, your monthly premiums will more than double, 114% increase. And just going through social media right now, like those numbers easily, we're seeing that happening. Like people have already been seeing those numbers between their 2025 costs and their 2026 costs. But I wanted to know then, okay, they don't want to extend the tax credits for 3 years like the Democrats are demanding that they do. So what are they doing? What are they proposing? All right. First, because this is going to help, I'm going to use this story to kind of help illustrate the 4 options that are on the table here. I'm going to tell the story of my appendectomy. So my appendix tried to murder me, but I was in a union and I had amazing union health care. And because I had already hit my very low out-of-pocket maximum for the year, I ended up paying nothing for this appendectomy. It was like in September of the year that it happened. An appendectomy at the time cost $25,000. Okay. My mom, on the other hand, less than a year later, had an appendectomy as well, was working full time, had health insurance. She had to take out a payment plan to pay off that appendectomy, even though she had health insurance. How is that fair, right? So here are the options that MAGA is putting on the table for your Affordable Care Act health care premium next year. Number 1 is extend the tax credits temporarily. Only do it through 2026 and then drop them in 2027 after the election, because supposedly there's going to be a brand new healthcare plan for America that they're going to create in 2026. As you can imagine, there's a lot of skepticism about this because they've been talking about a MAGA health plan since 2016, and nothing has ever materialized on that front. Number 2 is extend the tax credits, but only for some people under a certain income threshold. So people who are middle class will probably lose it. Okay, awesome. Number 3, give up your health insurance altogether. I'm not even joking. So Senator Scott in Florida has come up with this idea called the Trump Health freedom accounts. So instead of taking the money that they would use to just fund the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, they want to just give you that money in an account so that you can use it to pay doctors yourself, pay your prescriptions yourself. No health insurance. You don't need it. You just use that, pay as you go, right? But the problem that people are recognizing, they're going, wait a minute, when you defund health insurance by giving people money and saying you don't need your health insurance and they'll just use that money, insurance companies go under. And when they go under, the whole system begins to collapse, aka the Affordable Care Act, which some people are raising the question, are you trying to improve costs of healthcare, or are you just trying to destroy the Affordable Care Act? And people are going, well, let's come back to when your appendix tries to kill you. Is a Trump Health Freedom account going to give you $25,000 to pay off that appendectomy on top of all the other healthcare expenses that you might have? No. So option number 4, offer more high deductible plans. Okay, there's already a number of these on the Affordable Care Act. If you've been on that marketplace like I have, you've seen them there, right? Where you have a low monthly premium, but then you have a high deductible, meaning how much you have to pay before the insurance will even pay a penny. Well, I guess we don't have pennies anymore, so pay a dime, right? So if your appendix tries to murder you, you will have to pay the first $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 before the insurance will even kick in. Now, with those plans, they give you a health savings account to go along with it, where they're taking money out of your paycheck and putting it into a savings account that you can only use for medical costs. But when you look at the numbers and you run them, which I'm a nerd, so I looked at this, on average, you only get about $4,400 from these payroll deductions into your health savings account, unless you choose to continue to add more. But when the cost of living is so high as it is, can you afford to add more into an HSA? Some people say no. So you're paying your lower, yes, but you're still paying a monthly premium out of your paycheck. You're paying for a healthcare savings account out of your paycheck. And then if you have an appendectomy, when your appendix tries to murder you, you have to pay the first $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 out of your paycheck or your healthcare savings account before your insurance will even pay a dime. Or, you could just extend the tax credits for the next 3 years. So that's what I found out. Jim, your reactions?
One thing that you and I have talked about, John, is that there's two kinds of health situation in the United States. About 76% of adults report that they have one or more chronic illnesses, ongoing. Some of them are more serious than others, of course, but about 3/4 of people have something going on that they need regular medical something for: pills, prescriptions, doctor, whatever. And about, quarter of the people don't. So what they seem to be trying to peddle is this idea that, hey, if you don't need the doctor, that money is yours. But in fact, 3/4 of us need the doctor. And when you need the doctor, this healthcare system is terrible on a whole variety of different, never mind the cost. It's terrible on a lot of different perspectives. It's really still trying to generate profit, big profit for pharmaceuticals and healthcare providers and insurance companies. And if you took that situation out of there, and I don't disagree with getting rid of insurance, but you have to drive profit out of healthcare. Profit doesn't belong in healthcare except a small percentage. So they're coming up with something that will result in 3/4 of us suffering a little bit or a lot, financially or in terms of our health.
But
that is not a solution.
This is the reason why, because I want to amend a little bit of what you're saying. And it's the reason why I like telling this story of my appendectomy and then my mom's appendectomy less than a year later. For some of us, health insurance works great, right? I got into the ER. They did it. It was a good surgery, no problems. I didn't pay a cent for that, right? And then for my mom, she gets a similar surgery and has to take out a payment plan to get it paid off, right? And so this is where some people in America, if you've got the cash, or if you're in a union and you've got good union health care because you fought for it and you negotiated it and you kept it going, then you can have better than average health care in the United States. But if you're not in a union and you're not making over $100,000 a year, then you're probably not going to have the same level of care, which is why, I am a dual citizen of France and the United States. Trust me, America. If you go with the French one or not, there's the French one, there's the Canadian one, there's the English one, there's the Australian one, there's even the freaking authoritarian far right Hungarian one of universal health care. Pick them. But you can have such a better healthcare system than you have right now. And I'm telling you that from personal experience. It just baffles me when people say that universal healthcare cannot happen in the most powerful, richest country in the world, when I see all these other countries doing it just fine. Just fine.
Well, and you said $100,000 a year. If you think of how the government is actually looking at this, what they consider somebody who's wealthy is somebody making over $250,000 a year, which most of us, anybody that I know, would say that's outrageously high. But in their view, and in corporate America's view, 250 is kind of the line between doing great and just doing okay. So they are routinely, especially Donald Trump and anybody associated with him, have no idea, no clue what you're going through and what you're facing and how to choose healthcare over food or transportation or my job or clothing or something like that. So it's what is out of whack is the acceptance of capitalism, which is slowly killing us one way or another. And this is just one example of that. It is killing us. The drive for 25% profits is killing us and killing our society and killing our government. So John's telling me to stop.
I've got a caller. We've got a
okay.
caller. We've got Greg from Minnetonka. Greg, what is your take on all of this?
So I kind of dug into it a little bit, and maybe I'm off the mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked into this, and a few years ago, the top paid medical company CEO got paid $270 million. The top Medicaid, the head of the Medicaid system, got paid $221,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's right at 4,000 Advantage plans in the United States, which means there's 4,000 sets of people saying, no, we're not going to pay. 4,000 sets of marketing and salespeople that don't contribute to my health.
Yeah.
Why is it expensive? Those are contributors, valid contributions to make it expensive, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Those numbers are bonkers. And bonkers is the word that I can say because of the FCC. It's not the word I want to say right now. I can't believe that. Greg, thank you for calling in and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Have a good day. Bye.
You too.
Thanks. Well, you've heard me complain about.
That is insane.
Yeah. But that's the incentive. People are still acting like healthcare can be made a profit. Well, it is. They're doing it. But look at how the rest of us, the 97% of us, are suffering so that they can have these big profits. And
the thing that gets me also about universal healthcare coverage is that businesses don't want to be doing this. Like every time I talk to, when I was negotiating on a union steward or other businesses, like they don't want to be dealing healthcare coverage from a business. It is so onerous and annoying. And we could just have universal healthcare coverage and they wouldn't have to do this anymore.
Yep. There'd be a lot fewer HR people, but that's
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It is difficult moving to a universal healthcare system, but that is a problem I would rather be dealing with than all of this right here, where we have less than 23 days to go and we have no idea if our healthcare insurance premiums are going to double or not. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
This December, Fortune's Pool Theater celebrates 20 years of creating theater in Minnesota with a free festival of Pirate Mayhem, featuring 2 irreverent R-rated musicals in repertory, Yar, the Lusty Busty Pirate Musical, and the world premiere, Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Xmas. 3 powerhouse women playing 20 roles, a live orchestra, hilarious songs, and sword fights. Join the cosmic madness now through December 21st at the Hive Collaborative in St. Paul. Tickets are free as our gift to you. Reserve at fortunespooltheater.org.
Mon beau sapin, roi des forêts.
Francois, you're decorating Christmas trees.
Regardez ces sapins de Noël décorés de macarons de chez Nicolette.
You can buy Christmas trees decorated with Nicolette's macarons. Are there any new holiday flavors?
Oui, à la menthe, chocolat chaud et Nickerdude.
Peppermint, hot chocolate, and do you mean Snickerdoodle?
Oui.
Oh, and every day for the holidays, Nicolette's will be at Dayton's Market downtown and at Southdale.
Joyeux Noël.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the 3rd year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Hey, it's Beth from Big Hill Books. Yes, the happiest bookstore in the Twin Cities. When the world feels too serious, we say grab a book, pet a cat, and let Gigi the shop dog remind you joy still exists. Because reading and smiling are both acts of resistance. Find us at 405 Penn Avenue South in the lovely Bryn Mawr neighborhood. Or visit bighillbooks.com. Be sure to say hello and tell the gang you heard about us on AM 950.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. Maybe you breathed a sigh of relief that Thanksgiving wasn't at your house this year, but now you're realizing you are going to be hosting something in December and your home isn't ready. But don't worry, there's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to come out and get things in order before your friends and family come over. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home, from tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and more. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. They have a 4.9 rating on Google Reviews with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Lock yours in today. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker. We're coming up on the top of the hour. This episode has just raced by. I can't believe we're already, it's almost over, but we are saving a steamy segment for last. I don't know if y'all have been watching Heated Rivalry on HBO Max. The 3rd episode came out last night, and I thought, oh God, we got to talk about Heated Rivalry. How can we not? It's the zeitgeist right now, and I'm just so blown away that a gay hockey drama, is one of the top rated things in the United States, and everybody seems to be talking about it. And if you're listening going, what is Heated Rivalry? It is based on a very popular book series, and it is so popular right now. I looked this up. You can't even buy a copy of it online.
The book.
It is like all the copies are on back order right now. But what it's about: 2 rival hockey stars at the top of their game face an unexpected challenge when they develop feelings for each other, complicating their careers and their sports expectations. Hockey sports expectations, created by Jacob Tierney, starring Francois Arnault, Hudson Williams, and Connor Story. The first 2 episodes were about Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, who are a Canadian and Russian players respectively. They play on different teams in the NHL. They're major competitors, and they also are super attracted to each other and start this secret and clandestine relationship. Last night, however, in the third episode, we didn't see them barely at all. Instead, it focused on a teammate of our main character, Scott Hunter, and no, I'm sorry, the names are hard to keep track of. Shane Hollander. I guess it doesn't matter. He was a teammate. Now he plays on a different team. It's all really complicated. Anyway, we didn't see our two main guys last night. We saw one of our other guys who begins a. I'm not giving away any spoilers here.
Be careful.
Flirting with a barista at a smoothie coffee shop. He gets a smoothie, and we just sort of see this flirtation grow into very interesting different ways here. And I have to tell you, I liked that episode, number 3, way better than I liked episodes 1 and 2.
I think what's interesting here is that, and that's not a dirty secret, it's what America does not understand. They think, I believe they think, the average person, the average knucklehead, just like me, thinks, oh, all those gays live within 2 blocks of a gay bar and they all, whatever, and the lesbians wear Birkenstocks. I don't know, whatever the stereotype is. And the truth is, we are and always have been in all the places y'all are in, in business and in blue collar and delivery work and what?
I see where you're going with this now. So we're in the locker rooms, is what you're saying.
So Boots, which was all about the military, people are like, oh, gays in the military. They're all over the. There have been more gays hiding in the military and in the priesthood and in the church and in sports. That's a place you can go and hide, be a gay person, pretend that you're not, and nobody's going to question your sexuality. That is so common. I know so many people that have had that experience. And so in a way, this is only revealing to middle America, who is scandalized and shocked by this, even this possibility. And it's really no big deal. We're hiding in plain sight, Lindsey Graham. We're right there.
Okay, let's not bring Lindsey Graham into a conversation about Heated Rivalry.
What I'm saying.
And for folks who are on YouTube, please leave a comment. How are you liking Heated Rivalry? Go on, Jim.
It's exotic only because people don't want to acknowledge this. They think they can stamp this out if they stop 10 people from being gay. It's ridiculous.
Well, I want to talk about the show. I want to talk about the episode.
Well,
I liked this episode a lot more because in the first episode, the premiere, it's like you get a scene and then 6 months later, and then you get a scene 6 months later. Like literally they put the graphic on there, like, and now it's 6 months later, and then a scene, and now 6 months later. And literally you skipped through like 14 years or something like that. That's,
they
hyperbole.
got together 3 times.
This one, it felt like, oh my God, I'm dragging. Right. Last night's episode was just so beautifully done. You just sort of watch this flirtation unfold over 50 minutes, however long the episode was. And Francois Arnault, he did a fantastic job here. And if you've seen Schitt's Creek, he played a photographer who comes into town and is a former lover of Daniel Levy's character, David, and also is a photographer for Moira Rose, and she doesn't like the photos. Anyway, funny episode. He is great in this, and I really love watching his queer awakening in here, because I like that for the most part we weren't getting too much into the I can't come out because of the NHL stuff. Like obviously that is a conflict point because he can't come out or feels that he can't come out. But it's just really interesting watching him test the boundaries. I think that was more interesting to me, of how he was allowing himself to feel these feelings as opposed to just being in the constant, like, I can't come out, I can't come out, I can't come out. Jim, we've got about 30 seconds left. Your thoughts about last night's episode?
There was emotion in last night's episode, and that was sort of lacking in the first 2. It was sort of slam bam and you know what. And this was more emotional and more contemplative, I think, more intelligently written, in my opinion.
Well, if you like watching 2 in shape guys go at it, then episodes 1 and 2.
Well, yes, nothing wrong with that.
Last night also had that. but there was just a lot more emotional depth there, and they handled something that could have been very stereotypical and made it into something very genuine and earnest, and I really appreciated that. So I was kind of on the fence. I mean, obviously it's gay, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm giving it a high. I'm giving it a after that one. I'm giving it a good 4 out of 5 stars. But we have to go. Oh my gosh. Up next on I don't know what's up next on WCPT 820, but I do know on AM 950 it's the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, Step in the Unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.